Friends, I welcome you all to our today's discussion on income tax. Today we'll be learning some basic things about income tax, and we'll be learning all these provisions of the tax, keeping in mind uh, the provisions which are applicable to assessment year 22-23. That means the latest assessment year, coming assessment year, 22-23 assessment year, related provisions will be taught. Of course, if there will be some provisions which are relevant to the previous assessment year or assessment year 21-22, I will be highlighting those provisions also. So that we will be learning the old provisions as well as the new provisions. Okay, the tax rates and all will be learning, keeping in mind the provisions of assessment year 22-23. Right. And as you know, that when you are learning a law or in learning a topic like income tax, you have to learn the law. Law means it is an act. The relevant provisions are there in Income Tax Act 1961. So that act is relevant to us. So not only act, there are some related rules also, like Income Tax Rule 1962, we need to learn. Okay, so acts, rules, some of the tax laws, and some notifications, clarifications which are issued by department from time to time. All of them are important to have a complete knowledge about law. Okay, so let us start the topic. Let me share the screen with you first of all. So, okay, so first we'll be just a minute. I think screen is not shared. Yeah, now I think you are able to see the screen. Right?
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Yeah, first we'll be discussing about the scheme of taxation. That means here we'll be learning how tax is levied, how income tax, which is a direct tax, is levied in our country. We'll be having an overall idea. So if you want, you can write down along with me. I'll be writing a sentence here. You can have a look at here. I'm writing here, you see, every person whose total income of the previous year exceeds the maximum amount which is not chargeable to income tax is an assessee and chargeable to income tax at the rate or rates prescribed in the Finance Act for the relevant assessment year. Are you able to see the complete sentence? Let me read it. Every person whose total income of the previous year exceeds the maximum amount which is not chargeable to income tax is an assessee and chargeable to income tax at the rate or rates prescribed in the Finance Act for the relevant assessment year. Okay. Friends, first let us try to understand this sentence, because this sentence explains us what is the scheme of taxation in our country. But to understand this sentence, we need to first of all have an idea or have a clear understanding about the terms which are appearing in the red color form. For example, if you're writing, you can underline those words. You may underline the word person. You may underline total income. Please underline previous year. The maximum amount which is not chargeable to income tax. Assessee, chargeable, rate and rates, Finance Act, assessment year. So these are the keywords. To have a complete meaning of this sentence, we need to understand what is the meaning of person, what is the meaning of total income, what is previous year, what is the maximum amount which is not chargeable to income tax, who is an assessee, how income tax is chargeable, what are the rate and rates, what is this Finance Act, and what is this assessment. We need to understand all these stuff. Is it done? Yes or no? So first we would like to have a clear understanding of all these terms. Okay, are you getting me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let us see how to understand. But few more things, all these terms I'll be explaining you. I'll be showing you what are the definition of all these terms. But before that, few other things, few related things also we'll be discussing. I told you one more thing. Every person whose total income, that means what is taxable is the total income. So we need to know how to arrive at the total income. Then only we'll be able to apply some rates and we'll be able to know what is the tax. Friends, you have to remember that when arriving at the total income, this total income shall be determined on the basis of residential status in India. That means the total income computation will vary from person to person. It depends on his residential status. So one thing we have understood that every person's total income is taxable, subject to some conditions, but the total income is not same. That is, my total income may not be same with your total income, even if both of us has received same cash flows, because my residential status may be different from your residential status. Therefore, in order to compute what is the total income of an assessee or of a person, we need to know what is his residential status. Okay, therefore, we'll be knowing how to compute total income, but we have to also know what is the residential status of that person. Are you getting me? So residential status is important for the purpose of computation of total income. So we need to understand that thing also. Okay, please keep on responding.
Yes, sir.
Okay, one more thing we have to also keep in mind that I told you that, or you have written, you're saying that assessee's total income is chargeable to income tax at the rate or rates which are prescribed in the Finance Act. Okay, in the very beginning, I was telling that we'll be learning Income Tax Act 1961. That law we will be learning. But you see, most of the rates that we are going to apply on the total income are not prescribed in the Income Tax Act 1961. Rather, where it is prescribed, or it is prescribed in the relevant Finance Act. Finance Act is popularity, you know it as budget. Every year one budget comes in the form of finance bill. And when the finance bill gets the assent of the President of India, that becomes Finance Act. Okay, the last Finance Act was Finance Act 2021. Okay, now in another few days, Finance Act 2022 will be passed. Okay, and these income tax rates, most of these rates are prescribed in the Finance Act, in the relevant Finance Act we have to see. And every year there is a Finance Act. We have to see what is the Finance Act relevant to a particular assessment year. So we'll be understanding what is an assessment year and what is the Finance Act relevant to that. And the rate and rates of income tax must have been prescribed in that Finance Act. Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, friends, I told you it is prescribed in the Finance Act, but you have to also remember there are some rates which are called as the special rates, are prescribed in the Income Tax Act also. For example, you see individual slab rates, some of you might be knowing that up to 2,50,000 there is no tax, from 2,50,000 to 5 lakh rupees there is 5%, 5 lakh to 10 lakh rupees there is 20%, above 10 lakh there is 30%. That's the normal slab. There is one more slab is also there, optional slab. Okay, 5%, 10%, 15%, 20%, 25%, 30%, like different slabs are there. The slab rates you can find in the Finance Act. But there are some special rates. For example, if there is a capital gain, long-term capital gain, tax has to be levied normally at the rate of 20%. Or there is some, let us say, winning from lotteries, tax will be levied at the rate of 30%, like this. These are some special rates. These special rates are there in the Income Tax. So rates are prescribed mostly in the Finance Act, but there are some rates which are there in the Income Tax Act also. Okay, are you getting? So we have to refer both the laws. We have to refer the relevant Finance Act and the Income Tax Act 1961. Right, friends?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, one more thing I'll be telling you. I told you that if the person's total income is exceeding the maximum amount which is not chargeable to tax, we'll be calling that person as an assessee. But the exact definition of assessee is not that. Exact definition of assessee is something beyond that, that we'll be learning, which is when we'll be learning the section 2, clause 7. At that point of time, we'll be understanding what is the meaning of assessee. Okay, right. So when a question is there, who is assessee, or some choices are there, he is assessee, or assessee is a person, option A, option B, option C, option D. So you should be able to know, you should be able to refer to the section 2.7, which you will be learning. And on that basis, you should be able to decide who is an assessee. Okay. Now the scheme of taxation is clear to you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. But what we have understood up to this, that every person whose total income of the previous year exceeds the maximum amount which is not chargeable to income tax is an assessee, and chargeable to income tax at the rates which are prescribed in the Finance Act generally for the relevant assessment. And we have also understood that total income, if you want to compute, we have to refer to the residential status. And we'll be learning exact meaning of assessee in section 2, clause 7. And there are some rates which are prescribed in the Income Tax Act also. Having understood this, now we need to first of all understand these terms which are prescribed, which were there in the red color form. For example, I told you every person. Okay, every person whose total income of the previous year. So we need to understand all these terms. First, let us understand what is the meaning of a person. Then only we'll be able to get an idea what is the meaning of every person. Then we'll try to appreciate that what is this total income. So first, let us understand what is a person. Okay, are you ready? Let us try to learn that. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, question comes how to learn it. One is that you may refer to your study material, you may refer to some books where these things are defined. But I will tell you some easier way. Okay, easier way to learn Income Tax Act, or convenient way, because this is always available with you in your mobile phone. You can also see that. I'm taking you to the Income Tax Department's website. Okay, so there we'll try to, by referring to the material which is available there, we'll try to understand the income tax law. Okay, just give me a moment. I'll be sharing the screen with you. Just give me a moment. Let me share the screen with you right now. Okay, I did it. Okay, are you able to see? I'm showing you a Google browser only, Chrome browser. I'm typing now. Are you able to see?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I am taking you to the website of Income Tax Department. Okay, incometaxindia.gov.in. Okay, are you seeing it?
Yes, sir.
incometaxindia.gov.in. Okay, let me click enter. You see, this is the home page of Income Tax Department, and updated law will be getting from this particular site. Okay, I request all of you to visit this site frequently to update your knowledge. Okay, now you see, if you go here you see there is a link tax laws and rules. Under this, you can see acts, rules, circulars, notification. Okay, are you seeing it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if you click here, you can get Income Tax Act. So many acts are there. You can search the Income Tax Act. Rules are there. You can find out income tax rules here. So you may visit it at your convenient time and learn how to do it. Some important things I'm telling you, you can refer to here. You see, these are the tax tools. Some ready-made calculators are available. Very quickly, by using this calculator, you can compute what is tax. Tax tutorials are available. So if you understand a particular topic, for example, I'm linking your tax tutorials. You want to know what is permanent account number. You may learn this. If I click here, you may read it. Okay, so like this, what is, let us say, minimum alternate tax you want to understand. These tutorials are available. You can read it. How to deal with income from house property. You see, this is available. So at any time, you may go through the site, you may learn this thing. Okay. Will you be able to do it? Yeah, tutorials I told you. Some important things, let me quickly share with you. You see, tax tools are there. This is again very important tool. There are many tools. You are seeing it, tax tools. Okay, keep on responding.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you see so many calculators are there. In salary chapter, we'll be learning how to arrive at the taxable amount of medical facility, rent-free accommodation, transportation allowance, children education allowance. You see, for all these things, house rent allowance, ready-made calculators are there. If you put the figure, this calculator will give you answer. Okay, here I am showing you something that is a simple tax calculator. I clicked here, you see tax calculator. You see the assessment year for, let us say, assessment year 21-22. Let us say your taxpayer is an individual. Okay, let us say you are not opting for the new scheme, right? No. For assessment year 21-22, there are two schemes, old scheme and new scheme. Let us say no means you are opting for old scheme. You select what is the male, female, senior citizen, you select anyone. Let us say you are selecting male. Residential status, as you know, total income depends on the residential status. Let us say we are a resident. Now you put your figure. Suppose your figure you are putting 11,50,000. Now you just press enter, you see tax is automatically calculated. Are you seeing it here? How much is the tax? How much is health and education cess? What is the tax liability? Automatically calculated. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So very quickly you can check your answer also. So you need not know the slab rate. Straight way also applying calculator, you can find out the tax rate, tax amount. Okay. If you want to know what will happen if you go to new scheme, you can select here. Yes, that means under new scheme of taxation, what will be tax? So you can find out here. This is under new scheme. So you can easily compare. These calculators are very useful. Okay. So you can select anything. Let us say not 11,50,000. Let us say it is 17,000, 20,000, 17,20,000. Just press, automatically figures will change. Is it not a very convenient thing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Please make use of that. Now you see, this is only one calculator I showed you. And for other things, most of the things which we'll be learning in the salary chapter, you see calculators are already there. Let us say house rent allowance. Okay. And that other page, you can go to the next page also. You see some more calculators are also there. You see advanced tax calculator, TDS calculator. Okay, period of holding of capital asset. So many calculators are there. You can find out depreciation, income from house property calculator. You see, so many calculators are there. So you may, at your free time, you may visit and find out how to, you yourself will be able to learn how to use these calculators. Okay, I'm trying to make you familiar with the income tax department's website. Very useful website. So please visit this website. So one thing will be useful, I told you, tax tutorials will be helpful to learning a particular topic. Tax tools will be helpful to check your answers on a particular question. Okay. Now, right, friends, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
one more important thing also I'm showing you. This is, you see, this is the link. Are you seeing it? Tax charts and tables. So what is the tax rate if you want to understand? Then you see tax charts. You can click here. You find out first is cost of inflation index. This will be learning what is this when we're learning this capital gain chapter. TDS rates are there, but these tax rates you can see here. You can click here. You can find out what is the rate of tax. Right? Are you getting it? For assessment year 20-23, for assessment year 21-22. This is the rate. Rates are same for the both assessment. Yes, so don't worry about that. So up to 2.5 lakh, nil, 2.5 lakh to 5 lakh, 5%, then above 5 lakh, but up to 10 lakh, 20%, then 30%. Fine. This is for normal individual. For senior citizen, up to 3 lakh, it is exempt. Then 5%, 20%. For super senior citizen, you see, senior citizen means who is 80 years or more. 60 years and more. Super senior citizen means 80 years and more. Okay. For other assets also, you see for HUF. Okay, but this is for surcharge rate. This is a new rate, new scheme. You can see for 5%, 10%, 15%, 20%, 25%. We'll be learning all these things. Okay. For domestic company, what is the tax rate? All tax rates are available in this chart. Okay. And this is the updated data. Okay. Are you comfortable up to this?
Yes, sir.
You feel that you'll be able to you will be able to make use of this income tax department's website to learn the topic?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, our question here was to understand what is the meaning of person, right? Because I told you earlier that every person whose total income of the previous year exceeds the maximum amount which is not chargeable to tax is an assessee. And if he is an assessee, he'll be chargeable to income tax at the rate or rates which are prescribed in the Finance Act, and some cases in the Income Tax Act also. And we have to see the Finance Act for the relevant assessment year. So all these terms we need to understand. Who is a person? What is assessment year? What is previous year? What is total income? Okay. If you want to know all these things, now you have to read the Act. Now let me once again take you to the homepage of Income Tax Department site. Let us read the Act therefrom. Yeah, homepage again you are seeing.
Yes, sir.
I want to read Income Tax Act. Now please tell me, where should I go? I want to read Income Tax Act.
Under the tax laws and rules.
Yeah, under the tax laws and rules, there is a link Act. So let me click here. Okay, I clicked here. Now again, tell me, where should I click if I want to learn Income Tax Act? Income Tax Act 1961.
Sir, Income Tax Act 1961.
Fantastic. Income Tax Act 1961 is there. Now you see, some of you might not have seen the Act earlier. Now we'll be getting a chance to see how Act looks like. Okay, now you see, or you try to understand that income tax is divided into certain chapters. Just like in the book, you find certain chapters. Income Tax Act also, there are certain chapters. So if you know the chapter, then you can search a particular item in the chapter. Suppose you want to know what you want to find out the deductions. You can look in the deduction chapter. You want to compute income. You can look at the computation chapter. Right. So there are certain chapters, very convenient to read. And in the chapters, there are some sections. So if you know the sections also, you can directly search the section. Okay. Otherwise, you can go to the chapter or you can see the list of sections, find out what is the appropriate section which you want to read. So chapters, sections. Sections will be having subsections. Subsections will have clauses, subclauses, provisos like this. Okay. So if you read the Act, there will be some sentences which are extremely long, which you may find it difficult, but try to read it, try to understand it. Or if you are able to make these small sentences, convert these big sentences, large sentences, small pieces, then you will be understanding it in a better way. That is what book writers do. What the book writers do, for easy understandability, they convert the large sentences into small sentences so that a student can understand. But if you can read, you will be able to understand. So here we'll be directly reading from the Act. So let me show you how the Act looks like. Yeah, now you see, Act, you see, here is the option. You can see section wise or chapter wise. Are you seeing it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Section wise, you see section 1, 2, 3, 4. Section 1 is short title, extended comments. Section 2 is definition. Section 3 is previous year is separately defined here. Section 4 is charge of income tax. Section 5 is scope of total income. So like this, you see, section wise, it is explained. If you want to look at chapter wise, I'll be clicking this radio switch. Okay. Should I see it chapter wise? If I click it chapter wise, you see. Now you see chapter 1, preliminary. Chapter 2, basis of charges. Chapter 3, income which do not form a part of total income. Chapter 4, computation of total income, like this. Are you seeing? Chapter 6, say deductions. Are you seeing it? Is it not a very convenient way?
Yes, sir.
Very
Yes,
convenient way.
sir.
So either way you can search it. Suppose you have some doubt whether this section is which is there in the study material book is right or wrong, then you need not ask anyone. You can see directly refer to the act. You can verify what is written here. Okay. So if I click here, I will give you to the chapter 1. Okay, you click here, you see chapter 1. How many sections are there in chapter 1?
3 sections.
3 sections. So in that 3 sections, let us learn the section 1 first. Okay. Section 1, I'm clicking, you see. This is how you see section 1 looks like. Okay, Income Tax Act 1961. You see, this is chapter 1. This is the preliminary chapter and section 1. Okay, section 1, you see, there are 3 subsections to it. Section 1.1, section 1.2, section 1.3. Okay, so this, as you can see, section 1, most of the acts talks about 3 things. One is the short title, that is what is the name of this act. You can see what is written here. Section 1.1. Can you read? Can some of you read this sentence?
This act may be called the Income Tax Act 1961.
Okay, so friends, hereafter, whenever we'll be using we'll be calling this act, let us call it as Income Tax Act 1961, which is the name of the act. Okay, many times for the sake of convenience, we say Income Tax Act, but better as a professional student, I'll expect you to say it as Income Tax Act 1961 because that is the short title. Okay, so hereafter we'll be using when we're saying the name, let us use the complete name. What is that? Can you repeat? What is the name of this act?
Income Tax Act 1961.
Thank you. Second point, you see, second, also you read it.
It extends to the whole of India.
Okay, here also there is no doubt, there is no exception. It applies to whole of India. Okay, whether it is Ladakh or Kashmir or Goa, Daman, Diu or Pondicherry, whatever it may be, it applicable to all. So there is no exclusion to this act. Okay, so this particular section talks about short title, extend and commencement. Short title, you know, extend, you know, and coming to commencement, you see it is written, it shall come into force on the first day of April 1962. From that day onwards, this act is implemented. It is applicable. It is applicable. Okay, section 1 is clear to you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so hereafter you'll be saying what is the name of the act.
Income Tax Act 1961.
Thank you. And what is it? Then what is the area of applicability?
The whole of India.
Whole of India. And it is effective from which date?
First day of April 1962.
Thank you. Section 1 is over and try to remember. Section 1 is over. Now, having covered section 1, what I should do? Where should I go? Which section? 1 is over. Section 1 is over. Income Tax Act.
Section 2 of chapter 1.
Okay, let's go to section 1, section 2. Okay, so you can section wise you can search. Let us go to section 2, and you can see section 2 talks about what?
Definition.
Definitions. So you see, we are looking for those definitions. Is it not? We know that every person whose total income exceeds the maximum amount will be liable to pay tax, and we need to understand what is the meaning of total income. For that thing, we have to refer to section 2. And section 2, if you click, you can find these are the definitions. Okay, section 2 has got several clauses. This is a generic section. It contains various clauses. Okay. And if you refer to this clause, you can see that you see clauses are there or terms are defined in alphabetical order. First, you see, it starts from A, advanced tax. You might be thinking that Income Tax Act has not yet discussed why this advanced tax is appearing at the top. It's appearing because it starts with A. Are you getting? So it's like a dictionary. you can search it. Search a particular word by going in alphabetical order. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You see advanced tax, agricultural income. Like this, you can search. Then you see amalgamation, additional commissioner. After A, you see. After A is over, now B starts. Board, business. Then C will be starting like this. Okay. Now, friends, first we want to understand what is the meaning of person. Is it not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, if you want to understand what is the meaning of person, where should I go? I should search here. Okay, I should search where P is there. Yes or no?
Yes,
So
sir.
if you look, after C is over, C is going on. Now D has started. Now, serially, I'll be searching in alphabetical order. Now, you see P is there. You see so many terms are there. You see like this previous year's principal chief commissioner. Before that, it will be there. You see, this is the meaning of person. Are you seeing it?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Okay. So like this, various terms are there. I think you'll be able to find the terms. I'll be showing you in slide, but you'll be able to find the meaning of a term, yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Okay, easily you can find it out. So person, which clause it is defined? Section 2 clause. What is the clause number?
31.
Clause 31. Clause 31 talks about person. Okay, right. So like this, various terms are there. So you have to search it. You have to find it like this. Okay, are you comfortable up to this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, friends, let me yeah. Now, this is what I showed you, that every person whose total income of the previous year exceeds the maximum amount. So we need to understand what is the meaning of person. I also told you what is the source to find out the meaning of this thing. Source is the Income Tax Act, which is available at the website, you can see. So as it is rightly said, that a good lawyer may not be knowing what is law, but he should know where the law is. That is what is important for him, is to know where the law is located, where he can search. If you know the source, then you can easily understand the law. Okay, because law is such a subject that it keeps on changing. Every year, you know, it keeps on changing. It's dynamic and it is also vast. So if you try to remember, you try to memorize the law, it will be definitely difficult. So we'll try to know, let us learn where to find, where from we can find the law, what is the source of the law. If we know, then it will be easier for us to grasp something. Okay, so as a good lawyer, you should know what is law, and you also know where the law is. The source is also equally important for you, because we expect all of you to become professionals. Okay, now you have seen the source. Now, having seen that thing, let us understand what is the meaning of person. If you have seen the section 2 clause 31, okay, if you've seen, you know what is the meaning of person. And sorry, I think screen is not visible. Just a minute. Just a minute. Give me a minute. Yeah. So if you have seen section 2 clause 37, you must have understood what is a person. Okay. And here you have to remember that income tax is charged to every person. So first of all, you should know is a person or not. And if you have seen the definition, one thing is important here in the definition. It was saying that person includes. Okay. Person includes what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So how many category of persons are there?
7.
Seven category of persons. Can you read them? What are these categories?
Individual, HUF, firm, includes LLP,
Okay.
association of persons,
Okay.
Body of individuals,
Right.
BOP or BOI,
Right.
company,
Okay.
local authority, artificial judicial person.
So I have already shown you the arc, and you have also seen on the top, you see, but if this word is appearing in the red color font. Okay, because this word is important. Friends, try to remember under income tax law, in the many law, when definition is there, some of the definitions are exhaustive definitions. So exhaustive definition explain like this. It says, let us say, this means that. Okay, suppose it would have been person means individual, HUF, etc. That means that is an exhaustive definition. Okay, some definitions you will be learning which are exhaustive definitions. But here, means word is not used. A different word is used. What is that? Person
Includes.
includes. That means it's an inclusive definition. Here, friends, as a professional students, you have to pay attention on that word, because the meaning of the term person is still open. Okay, and these are only says that in this particular definition only says person includes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there might be many other kind of persons also. Okay, therefore, definition is purposefully kept open. It says the person includes. Okay, person includes what? Now, if some of you have remembered, you can help me. What are they? Person includes which section I am talking about? Right? Person includes number 1. Please help me. Without referring anything, let us see how far you have remembered. One is
Second one HUF.
second one is Hindu undivided family.
Company.
Firms.
The
Okay,
association of persons,
okay, we'll take farm, and you know which includes
LLP.
LLPs. Okay, limited liability partnership firms are also included, and under income tax law, farm and LLP they're same.
हेलो सर
Okay, yeah.
सर वो मतलब 37 नहीं सर 31 होगा शायद
37. Is it appearing like 31? That's right, 31. 31. Okay. Right? Okay.
yes sir.
Okay. Right. So individual, HUF, farm. Then what is the next?
Association
Company.
of persons,
I will come to AOP, but before that, some of you already told me that is company. Okay. 5, we are saying association of person. I'll write it as AOP, and also BOI. We'll be understanding what is the difference between AOP and BOI. Association of persons or body of individuals. Okay. Now 6.
Local authorities.
6, very good. 6 is local authority. Very nice that you have pointed out this thing, but it's local authority, because many times when the question is asked, students forget this particular item. They write, most of the cases we have seen, students write 7 because they know a person 7, but they forget the local authority. They somehow manage either after 5, they straight to write 7, or AOP, BOI, they categorize it into 2 types of persons. Local authority, please remember, many times you have seen people forget this particular type of person, local authority, LA. Now, what is the last one?
Artificial and judicial persons.
Artificial juridical person, or AJP. So these are the 7 category of persons. Okay, so under income tax law, and we have to also remember one very important thing. What is that? That this is an inclusive definition. Okay, this is an inclusive definition. Okay,
Yes, sir.
right now.
So what is the inclusive definition?
Inclusive definition means the definition that we have seen. It says, you see, person includes this thing. That means the term has not been exhaustively defined. It is defined inclusively. Okay, is it clear to you?
yes sir.
Okay, some other definition, let show you right now. Just a minute. Now you see, now this is Companies Act definition. Now you see, this is the income tax definition. Company to mean, that means company means so and so. Some other definition I'll see. So you just a minute. I wanted to show you a few more definitions. Okay, in appropriate time, I'll be showing you that thing. Let us not spend our time here. So here you see, this is the Companies Act definition. It says company means this or this. Okay, there is no confusion. It's not an inclusive definition. It is an exhaustive definition. Okay, now you see, we'll be find out some definitions which are inclusive, some definitions are exhaustive, but maybe in few classes we'll be saying some definitions are inclusive, exhaustive also. It says this means so and so and includes. That means it is an exhaustive definition plus inclusive definitions also. So in due course, we'll be learning all these things. But here, why I'm focusing on this particular word includes is that whenever you are reading a definition, please check that what kind of definition is it. Is it an inclusive definition or exhaustive definition, or it's both? Okay, if you keep this thing in your mind, then your learning will become more effective. Your reading will become more effective. Okay, you yourself will be able to find out which word is important. And these are the things which are tested by examiners also, whether you have studied the definition properly or just like that you have remembered. Okay, so in exam, what happens? We know that 99% of the students must be writing these 7 items. But most of the cases you'll find instead of include, student might have used the word means. And examiner tries to find out whether the word includes is used or means is used. Accordingly, he evaluates the student. Are you getting me? How the term is important? Term is important. That's why it's appearing in the red color font. And in future also, not only in income tax, whenever you are reading any law, and if you are reading a definition, please, in your mind, please check that whether it is an inclusive definition or exhaustive definition. When I say inclusive definition, it means it includes. It is open. So let us say some other entity has formed some other kind of thing as in font, and person says, you say, I'm not an individual, I'm not an HUF, I'm not a farm, I'm not an AOPBOI, I'm not a company, I'm not a local authority, I'm not an artificial juridical person. So I'm not a person, so I'm not liable to pay tax. If you come with this kind of argument, but when you say, who says you are not under the tax bracket? I have only said that person includes. Okay, I have not exhaustively defined the term persons. So anybody can be included. Are you getting the logic? Why purposefully the word includes is used?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
To keep the option open. Okay, like this. Okay, friends. Now, first, what we'll do, now we have seen person includes all these things. Now quickly we'll understand what are the components of this person. First, we'll understand what is the meaning of individual. You see, individuals, when you and I, all of us are individuals. Who is an individual that has not been defined under income tax law? And you know, if you want to understand the meaning of a term, you may refer to the section 2 where it has been defined. But what happens if it is not defined with the section 2? You may refer to some other related law if it is defined elsewhere. Or if it is nowhere defined, then you can simply refer a dictionary and try to understand what is the common meaning of that term. The term individual has not been defined in income tax. So we'll take the common meaning, natural meaning. That means you and I, all of us are individuals. And individuals are chargeable to income tax when their total income exceeds the basic exemption limit. In case of a death of an individual, his legal representative is liable. If the individual is a minor or a person of unsound mind, then his guardian will be liable to comply income tax law. This is about individual. Now coming to other category of person, that is HUF. HUF is also not defined under income tax law. So we have to understand the provisions of Hindu law to have an idea of HUF. To become an assessee, HUF must have income yielding joint property. Then only you can say that HUF is an assessee. HUF has some property which is earning some income, then only HUF will become an assessee. HUF consists of all persons who are linearly descendant from common ancestor. There is an ancestor from who are linearly descendant. They are the members of the HUF. Their wives are included. Unmarried daughters are included. If a stranger who is legally adopted, he can also become a member of HUF. Okay, a conceived child is not a member of HUF. HUF may have a smaller HUF within that. Okay, a single member cannot constitute an HUF. So like this, there are some related provisions are there related to connected to HUF. So all that we have to remember that HUF is a separate category of persons. So in our country, there are different schools of HUF, two different schools of HUF. Just one is the Ayabhaga school, the Mitakkara school in West Bengal and Assam. The Ayabhaga school of HUFs are formed, and in rest of India, Mitakkara school of HUF are formed. Okay, there are some differences between these two schools. Okay, so this difference we are not going to learn, that may not be relevant for us, but if you want to read, then you can pause the video, you can read it, what are the differences in appropriate time. Okay, now if you have some query, like who has raised your hand, please ask me your query right now.
Sir, I have a question. What means conceived child?
Conceived child means child is not yet born. So he cannot be considered as a member of HUF. He is just conceived. He is in the mother's womb, but not yet born. Okay, so our this thing, Hindu law, he may be considered as a member, but for income tax purpose, that child is not be considered as a member of HUF. Okay, any other query you have?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so we have understood what is individual, who is HUF, what is HUF. Maybe.
Sir, I'm having one question.
Yeah, please raise your
So
question.
what is the age limit,
Age limit of
sir, of becoming a
income tax assessee?
yes, sir.
No, there is no age limit. Just born child can become a assessee. Child who is just born, that's a 1 hour old, you can also become an assessee. Okay, you can apply for a PAN card of a just born child, and you can file income tax return also if he is having some income. Okay, there is no age limit. Are you getting me? If there is a minor
Yes,
child,
sir.
minor child has a separate income. He has to file income tax separately. Okay, but in certain situations, minor child's income gets clubbed with the parent's income. That's a different story. When learning clubbing provisions at the time, but minor childs are separate assessees. Okay, other people, please ask your query.
So minor child has separate, that means individually filing the income tax or clubbing with their guardian?
No, in certain provisions, in certain situations, minor child's income will be clubbed. But in other situations, they are having their separate income. Normally, their income is separate. But in some specific situation, it may club. That those things will be learning when you'll be learning these clubbing provisions. Okay. Any other query? Anyone else is having? No other query?
सर बट डाउट है कि सर माइनर होगा तो सर 18 साल के अंदर ही होना चाहिए ना ऊपर, नहीं तो वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में कैसे आएगा?
It's income tax filing is not a contract.
मतलब मैं कह रहा हूँ कि सर वो जो इनकम होगा तो You have an
Now,
unsound
what is
mind.
your question? Your question is that who will sign the return,
Yes,
or
sir.
whether minor child is liable or not? Answer is
Yes,
that
sir.
minor child is liable to pay income tax. Okay, even if the child is 1 day old or 1 hour old also. If he has some income, then he has to pay income tax. If it is his separate income, he has to pay separately. Or but if it's not his separate income, in some other situation that will be clubbed with the either of the parents' income, whose income is higher. Those aspects you will be learning the clubbing provisions. Okay. Now your question is that how he can file, how can sign the income tax return. That has to be signed by the guardian. That provisions also will be learning when we will coming to those provisions related to signing of income tax return. Okay. Your tax liability is not affected by your right to contractor. Are you getting me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Any other question?
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, it was mentioned under the definition of person that the body of individuals is not voluntary.
Yeah.
So what does that mean, sir?
Yeah, that exactly I'll be explaining what is AOP, what is BOI, why in which case it is voluntary, which case it is not voluntary. So let us wait for the next class. I think that will be better. Okay, today we have completed only individuals and HUF. The other kinds of persons like farm, company, AOP, BOI, local authority, AGP, all these things I'll be explaining in the next class. Voluntary means that this is understand that voluntarily, suppose you and me are coming together and form a joint venture to do a business. Okay, so that is voluntarily we have formed a business. But you and I have not voluntarily come together, but some third party, let us say court has given order that both of you jointly give a compensation to that person. That means we have not voluntarily come together, but court has decided that you jointly give. That is non-voluntary. That is also association of person, but not voluntary. Are you getting me?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Any other query? Okay, friends, we'll stop here. We'll catch up in your next session. Right at that time, I'll be covering the remaining part. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.